Hey guys, I just want to say first and foremost, thank you so much for everyone who's been helping me raise a little bit of extra money so I can get down to Los Angeles for the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker press screening on Tuesday. I am getting very close to my goal. I still have about $200 more to make. I just want to give you guys a quick update and say thank you so much to everyone who's been really generous and helping me out. It's a couple days away. I'm super excited. So if you do want to help get me over the edge, get me over that point, and get some good coverage from on the ground, link is in the video description. Thank you guys again. Have yourself a great day, and may the force be with you. Let's dive in. First things first. Why don't we take a look here at Bob Iger talking with Martin Scorsese. So this one to me always cracked me the hell up, right? Because Martin Scorsese randomly came out, starts attacking Marvel movies left and right. No real reason to me why he's attacking Marvel movies left and right. You know, they're not cinema, they're not real. Oh my God, they're terrible. And he's wrong. He's wrong. He's fundamentally wrong. There's no other way to describe it. Martin Scorsese is wrong. Marvel movies are as much cinema as anything else. And I agree with the pushback from people that make the claim that when you attack a film, you're not just attacking one person. You're literally going after the crew, and the crew is the lifeblood of a project. Make no mistake. You know, you can look at the creatives all you want. You can admire the creatives all you want. But it's like Steven Spielberg is a great visionary director, but you know what makes Spielberg even better? A great cinematographer and a fantastic editor, right? Like, wasn't Sally Menke Quentin Tarantino's editor? You know, she helped put together, really finalize Pulp Fiction back in '94, you know, and she helped that movie be what it was. There's so much that goes into these projects. It's not just one person. And for Scorsese to come out and make those comments, it just kind of felt really disrespectful to me. As a film junkie, it did. Maybe not you, but definitely me. So let's see here. So Iger is planning on meeting with Scorsese over Marvel comments. And just the most powerful man in Hollywood outside of Kevin Feige, right? I'd say it's Feige then Iger if I'm going to give it a pecking order. Feige is number one. Like, really? Feige could threaten to quit at any point in time, and any studio would probably kill their firstborn son in order to get Feige on board. Hyperbolically making that claim. Anyway, so Iger, you know, meeting with Scorsese over this is just fascinating because I think Iger's going to offer him a job. So it says here, the Disney CEO added that the filmmaker's comments were nasty and not fair to the people who are making the movies, which is something I completely agree with. Like many a fanboy on Twitter, Bob Iger hasn't gotten over Martin Scorsese's comments about Marvel movies. In a news story for Time magazine, in which the Disney CEO was named Business Person of the Year, which, as a quick side note, a lot of people were not happy about that. If you look at what Iger has accomplished, and whether you agree with it or not, just what he's accomplished, yeah, no, it makes sense. Navigating the biggest deal of the year in regards to entertainment, navigating a $71.3 billion merger of another studio, absorbing one of the key six in Hollywood, effectively forever changing the landscape as we know it in regards to the studio system, good or bad, it happened. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you may not agree with it, but he definitely navigated it well. And no, I'm not shilling for a job with Bob Iger. I'm just pointing out that I can respect it even if I don't like every aspect of it. He did say here that the famed filmmaker's comments about his company's superhero movies were nasty and not fair to the people who worked on the movies. He adds, if Martin Scorsese wants to be in the business of taking artistic risk, all the power to him. That doesn't mean what we're doing isn't art. And that is true. That is true. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Irishman, from what I can tell, is fantastic. I mean, Scorsese's movies in general are fantastic, with the exception of Hugo. That was a steaming pile of crap. If you want to fight me on Hugo, one day I will do a deep dive into the movie, and we will talk about that movie and why you could have ended that movie in the first 30 seconds if Hugo would have just said one thing. And it's just, that gets under my skin. Now, Iger then said that his and Scorsese's representatives were planning a meeting between himself and the Irishman director, saying that this is only the latest installment of the ongoing saga over Scorsese's remark that Marvel movies are not cinema. Filmmakers, including Kevin Feige, James Gunn, and Joss Whedon, have all defended the studio for which they've made films, while Iger previously weighed in during an interview where he says, I don't think he's ever seen a Marvel film. He said, and anyone who's seen a Marvel film could not in all truth make that statement. Now, there are people on the comment section of this video, guaranteed, that will try to make that statement. They'll be like, oh, it's absolutely, Marvel movies are garbage. It's terrible. Have you seen them? Oh, my goodness. Thor the Dark World is like trash to epic proportions. Thor Ragnarok is just not good. That's actually a direct quote from somebody watching this right now, by the way, that they don't like Thor Ragnarok. I'm not going to tell you who. I want to tell you who. They know who they are. They know who they are, but no, everyone has the right to be wrong in their opinion. To the person who doesn't like Thor Ragnarok, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, the protracted saga has continued as Scorsese has been defended by other filmmakers, including Helmer's Jon Favreau and Francis Ford Coppola, who called Marvel movies despicable. Meanwhile, Scorsese has stood by his remarks while speaking at the London Film Festival in a New York Times opinion story. In the latter, the director said that today's filmmaking is market researched, audience tested, vetted, modified, re-vetted, and remodified until they're ready for consumption. Now, you know who would ultimately fundamentally agree with that? Red letter media, right? Consume product until there's more product to consume. Is that the line? I'm not too sure, like the exact meme, but it makes sense there, right? Now, but I mean, think of it like this. When he says that it's market researched, audience tested, and vetted, modified, re-vetted, and remodified until they're ready for consumption, how is that a bad thing? I mean, really, it's the editing process. It's the revision process of something, right? Like an artist wouldn't just, like a novelist wouldn't just put out their the first draft of something. They wouldn't look to see what the market maybe wants. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to do something. It just depends. I find that comment to be dismissive and unnecessary, and in some aspects even cruel. These are people that put out a product, right? Yeah, they're market tested. There's no denying the fact that the Marvel movies are market tested to an extent, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you look at what makes them so successful, why people like them as much as they do, what it boils down to, my friends, it has everything to do with the trust that the audience has in the filmmakers. And so when they modify and they vet and they re-vet and they remodify, what that means is they look to see with their audience what they respond to, and then they continue to give you that. When they found, when they realized that Robert Downey Jr. was the lifeblood of the MCU, they put him in a movie every year since 2015. Think about that, right? He did Iron Man 1, 2008, 2010, Iron Man 2, Avengers 2012. There was Iron Man 3, 2013. He skipped 2014, appeared in Avengers Age of Ultron 2015, Civil War 2016, Spider-Man Homecoming 2017, Avengers Endgame or Infinity War 2018, and Endgame 2019. They put him in these movies for 5 straight years, and they made him a key part of it. Why? Because the audience loved it. The audience loves him. That was part of the modification and the vetting process. You go with what works. And as a result of that, what do we have? An emotionally compelling story that wraps up 11 years of filmmaking, as well as 23 movies, or at the time, 22. We got the excellent end of a character that was absolutely beloved, that brought people to real life tears because they loved this character so much. And to sit there just to point it out as being nothing more than just consumerist garbage, I believe, is nonsense. Yeah, you can look at the marketing, you can look at the merchandising that comes out of these movies as being just over the top consumer garbage. And to an extent, I would agree. They kind of slap the Marvel Avengers name on everything. I'm pretty sure I saw Black Widow themed tampons at Walmart or something. They put it on everything, and fine, that's not all good. But that aside, look at the content of the film. This is a filmmaker who's attacking other filmmakers. I'm not a big fan of that. Martin Scorsese has the right to criticize 100%. But I agree with Bob Iger here when Iger says that it's nasty and it's mean-spirited. And I've said that from the beginning. And then Ford Coppola comes out and he's all like, they're despicable. My boy Marty doesn't like them either. You want to fight about it? Like, okay, when's the last time Francis Ford Coppola made anything of merit? Of merit. I'm not going to disregard his contributions with, Godfather Part 2, and then, Godfather Part 3. But he also did Captain EO, which was a George Lucas produced, Michael Jackson starring Star Wars-esque experience for Disneyland. That's as commercially viable as you get. So F you, Ford Coppola. And F you, Scorsese, if that's the kind of crap you're going to play. So anyway, look, when I talk about this, when I break this all down, the way I view it is this. What we're going to see here is we're going to see Bob Iger go to Scorsese and offer him a role. He's going to offer him a job. I guarantee it. It's going to maybe be a one-off. It's going to be something. It may be for Disney Plus. They're going to offer Scorsese a job because at this point now, Iger's viewing this as a challenge, baby. This is a challenge for Iger. He wants to meet with the representative. He wants to find out what makes him tick, and then he wants to see if he can play it. Oh, really? You think these movies are about? Why don't you make one? How much money you need? We'll put whatever on you. We'll give you whatever you want. We'll give you whatever budget you want. You want $185 million? You want 250, 300, whatever, man, we'll do it. At this point, what we're talking about here is ego, Iger's ego and Iger's legacy. Now, he's going to defend his company, and I completely get that, right? He's going to defend his territory. He's going to come out. He's going to whip his dick out and smack it on the ground. Well, bam, draw a line with that son of a bitch, right? He's like, they don't call me third leg Iger for nothing. You know what I mean? So he's just going to do that. And then he's going to call Scorsese's bluff. I just don't know to which capacity, but I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. And if we get news coming out of it sometime in 2020 that Martin Scorsese has agreed to do perhaps a phase 5 film, I don't know what it would be. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Everyone will lose their mind over it, right? But Scorsese, he may want the challenge too. And this is where we could get some pretty excellent filmmaking. What if we got like Irishman levels of filmmaking for a Marvel movie? One that could actually make the run for Best Picture nomination and actually have a shot at winning. Black Panther being nominated, we all know that was a joke. Absolutely a joke. I mean, they're putting up Endgame. That was a better movie. Infinity War was a better movie than Black Panther. But what if you got Martin Scorsese to do a Marvel movie that could actually be done with the capacity, the potentiality of making that run towards the Best Picture nom, and then have a solid shot at winning? After the success of the Joker, after that $1 billion on the Joker, after the fact that they're going to be talking about Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips and the Joker is winning all the awards at the Oscars, do you think Iger is not going to want to take a shot at that? You think Iger is not going to want to try to play up Marty's ego to go for that whole thing? I mean, come on, it makes all the sense in the world. Iger's out in 2021. Why not lock down a potential Best Picture win? Right? Why not lock that down in a legacy? This is the long game that they're playing here, man. This is the long game. It's going to be fascinating to see what comes from this. And here's my question to you. If this happens, right? And it's a long if, but if this happens, what do you think would be the story that Martin Scorsese would tell? If you could, what story in Marvel Comics do you think Scorsese could tell that would get an potential Oscar nomination, right? Now, I don't know what it would be. But I'm telling you one thing. If you want to talk about Oscar noms and going for Oscar gold and you want to play that up, what works well with the Oscars? Nazis, World War II, Holocaust. Huh. What does that remind you of? Magneto, World War II, Holocaust, X-Men. Imagine a Magneto origin story as directed by Martin Scorsese. Think about that, because that's my theory. That's what I would go for. Because that's quick, easy Oscar gold. It really, really, really is. And I think deep down, you know that I'm right, but still want to hear your thoughts and your opinions on this one.